Hey, Amie,
Yeah, Juan.
give me that beat.
It's Baseball Shangri-La with Amie Cuevas and Juan Ramirez.
What's up, party people? She is Amie Cuevas. I'm Juan Ramirez. You are listening or watching Baseball Shangri-La. If you are listening to us on the audio portion of the show, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast. Rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Give us a thumbs up. Leave us your comments. We love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, and Bluesky at Baseball Shangri-La. Amie, ¿cómo estás?
Hi. I love when you make me laugh right out the gate.
Well,
We are
I
super professional on this show.
that's right. Amie appreciates my hypochondria. It's the only person that can. So, Amie, before we get into what was a very eventful week for the Dodgers.
I'm not going to lie. I was trying to imagine like the lengths that your emotions went to over the last week cuz like mine were pretty like even
Oh,
keel, and I'm sure yours were all over the place, my friend.
I will share. I am very much looking forward to, at the time we are recording this, it is Monday, right before the start of a 4-game series between the Dodgers and the Rockies of Colorado. But before we start talking about the Dodgers, Amie, I do want to address one of the comments from the comments corner. It was a comment that made me very happy. One of our loyal listeners, David Wants a Taco, was in Los Angeles. He went to Dodger Stadium and he partook of all my taco suggestions. And I'm very happy that he went to my two favorite spots and that he liked them. He likes it. He
Okay,
agreed with
Mikey.
me.
He
Exactly.
likes it.
He agrees with me. I had recommended to him Sonora Town and I had recommended Taco Los Cholos. So I am so glad, David, that you went to those places. Those are my favorite places. I actually took my in laws a couple of weeks ago to Taco Los Cholos. It was like 8 o'clock during the middle of the week. And the line, we went to the one in Anaheim, and the line was just wrapped around this place. The parking lot was full, and my in laws are just like, "Where did you bring us?" And then after we finished eating, my in law said, "I understand why the line is so long, and it is worth standing in that line to get this food." So, David, I'm glad that you got to experience Taco Los Cholos.
I'm glad everybody else had such an uplifting week. I did get to take my little nephews, their nephew age, my little cousins, to one of the games in the Padres series, and I had that moment of I got into my car and I turned the key, and all it sounded like was a machine gun firing. My battery died, of course, as I'm getting ready to leave to the game to go pick them up. So shout out to AAA because they came within an hour. I had my battery changed, and we didn't miss the game. They got to see Kershaw pitch in the bullpen before the game, and then we got to see what we saw unfold for the Padres series. But I'm sure you can relate to that sinking feeling when your car just does not start at an
Oh,
inopportune moment.
absolutely. I just had to replace the entire cooling system in my daughter's car.
Ah,
And
yes,
it's
car
always great.
fun.
It's always great when my daughter comes and, hey, there's something wrong with her. There's smoke coming out of the car. And I'm like, smoke coming out of the car?
This is just a reminder, everybody, get your regular oil changes and check your battery. So
Absolutely. I'm more impressed, Amie, that you actually made it to the game on time on Friday, even
I
with all that car trouble.
I even pushed my car 3/4 of the way out of my garage by myself. So
Wow.
just little to myself because I wasn't sure I was going to be able to do it, and I did. So
Well, I'm sorry you had taco. I mean, not taco.
I
I'm
didn't
sorry.
have I didn't have the taco fun.
You did not have taco problems. You had car problems.
Yes.
But it doesn't sound like David Wants a Taco had taco problems. So that's
No.
good.
As long as David Wants a Taco had a good time, that's all that matters.
That's right. All right, let's go into the updates. Amie, what do you got?
Oh man, we've got stuff all over the place. So last week you kind of brought us up to speed with that last minute update about Brock Stewart. So he did end up going on the 15-day IL with right shoulder inflammation. So hopefully we'll see him sooner rather than later. Michael Kopech and Kirby Yates, they're going on assignment to Oklahoma City. We did, and this is going to play into the Padres series later, but on Friday we claimed first baseman Buddy Kennedy off waivers from Toronto, and he made his debut in the Sunday game. Corresponding move obviously was Max Muncy going on the 10-day IL retroactive to August 13th. He has a right oblique strain, and Dave did confirm that it is, it's a combination with the ribs. They're hoping that it sorts itself out. Last year he went to that chiropractor kind of later in the injury timeline, so I'm hoping maybe he goes and sees that chiropractor again, if that's going to help him out. And
Did
then
you remember what last year's also
it was
grade
oblique.
1?
I don't remember the grade, but it was an oblique strain, and he was out for a while. And then
He was out 3 months, and that's
and
what's
then you saw that
concerning to me.
chiropractor, and then it was like, oh, it's magic. So maybe go see him again.
Yeah, I think that is a very good suggestion. Go ahead.
Yes. And then the Nats did claim right-handed pitcher Julian Fernandez off waivers from us. And then we did get some updates yesterday in the scrum with Dave Roberts. So Kike is supposed to go out on a rehab assignment this week. He was taking BP yesterday at the field, so we did get to see him get some swings in before the game. Hae-Sung Kim is going to go out at some point. Tanner Scott as well. So really no timeline on that, but it's supposed to be soon. And then Tommy Edman is hopefully due back early September. But again, they're being very, very careful with him. But he has resumed baseball activities. They did say Max Muncy was in a good spot. So Monday, as of the day that we're recording, he's supposed to get some work in with some plyo balls, work on his rotation. But they're saying that it's good markers for him. And then Roki Sasaki is due to head out to Oklahoma City later this week. Anything else you want to kind of fill in the gaps there?
No additional updates. I do want to comment on some of those updates. I do think
no comment. No, I'm just kidding.
I do think the timeline on a lot of these updates, I would not be surprised if all of a sudden you start seeing these people come back after September 1st when they expand the rosters.
Sure.
It seems like everything is lining up so you don't have to make any other additional moves. You can take advantage of the extra roster spots come September.
And you don't want to rush anybody back as much as we want these guys back. I mean, especially as we get into the Padres series, we were without some of our key guys, and we still managed to find a way. But Kike, Tommy, you really don't want to rush Tommy back because we've already seen some setbacks this season. So getting him the extra rest or whatever it is he needs, I don't see him coming back, like they said, early September. So maybe count on mid-September for him.
Yeah, the Tommy Edman one, I've accepted the fact he's just not going to be healthy for the rest of the season. So really, it's more about managing that injury and not making it worse so he can finish the season and hopefully finish the postseason run. But is he ever going to be 100%? Absolutely not. And I want to, I'll deal with this in the off season, but that ankle might become a chronic issue if it's not already a chronic issue for him.
But we've already seen that. I guess to me, it's not a shock. He had all of the first half of last year off because of the ankle issue with his previous team, and then he came back refreshed, but he only had to play half a year. So
I think you understand now why the Cardinals went ahead and decided we're going to trade Tommy Edman, because I remember everybody going, why did the Cardinals give this guy up? I think we're seeing why. The same thing can be said.
That's any guy in the league, though. Show me a guy, unless he's brand new, and even some of the brand new people, fresh out of the farm system, they've had their fair share of injuries. So show me somebody who's in perfect condition, and
Well, that's the philosophy that Andrew Friedman subscribes to, is the risk versus reward, and that's the reason why Brock Stewart was traded for, because the Dodgers admitted they had questions about his medicals when they made that trade, but they decided that it was worth the risk, and I'm sure they were aware of what was going on with Tommy Edman, to the point where they extended multiple years for Tommy Edman. So obviously they're calculating the risk. I also
And honestly, there like this is just the state of baseball today. Like because of and we'll get into some of this later as well, but because of how many teams have the opportunity to get into the postseason, you're not seeing a lot of availability for people like you did before. So it's kind of you get what you get. And yes, I know more people would have wanted other moves during the before the trade deadline, but we got what we got. And it's not like there was a plethora of people that were available. It was kind of like you were shopping with not what was left over, but it wasn't your top of the line people that everybody is used to seeing from what we saw in recent years.
they were very specific with their shopping list, and they stuck to that shopping list. They did not stray from it. And some people will sit there and say, well, they should have. You saw all the moves that the show pods did. You
Shoulda,
saw the
woulda,
moves.
coulda.
You saw the moves what the Phillies did, but I mean, talk about bad luck. You saw what happened to Duran, right?
No.
The big reliever that everybody thought the Dodgers should have gone after, who the reliever for the Twins, who the Phillies ended up getting, got struck by a line drive on his ankle. And I
No.
think we don't know this, but I think he's pretty much done for the rest of the season, being it is the middle of August, but he may be able to make it back in time for the postseason. But that's just some
The
horrible.
mechanics you need just to be able to pitch. Like you've got to oh man.
That is
That's
just
a
some
bummer.
horrible
That's
bad luck. So I know if the Dodgers would have pulled the trigger for Duran and paid the high price that Duran was available, and then this would have happened to him, could you imagine the meltdown that Dodger fan would have had at that point?
sure, but this is why I don't like playing the what if game because if he had come to the Dodgers, you don't know if he would have been struck by that line drive because he would have been in a different game. Like it just like there's so many
Yeah, there's no way of
factors of that.
controlling that.
Yeah, like we could have a whole episode of what if and then just rein it all in.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to just comment on is temper your guys' expectations in terms of people coming back. You're assuming, okay, these players come back and they're just going to be right in midseason form, even if they look good in the minors. I'll give you the example of Blake Trinan, who looked good in the minors and has not looked like that in the majors. If you see the reports and if you watch those games, because Spectrum Sportsnet LA is now starting to show the minor league games, Michael Kopech did not look good in his rehab start in Oklahoma City, and Roki Sasaki did not look good in his
In
rehab start.
in fairness though, we don't know what they're working on. Like we don't know if they're like, hey, today we want you to focus on this. Like yes, you want to win games in Oklahoma City, you don't want to lose them, but also like, hey, we want you to focus on this in this game. You don't know like what the goal is. So I don't know. I would go so far as to say just don't have expectations. We get what we get when we get it. Like it's gonna be whatever it is. And kind of to kind of wrap up the update section. So Yoshinobu Yamamoto is supposed to pitch on Monday. We're gonna see Emmett Sheehan on Tuesday in Colorado, and then we've got Shohei on Wednesday. I haven't gotten further than that because I was at work earlier. But they are saying for Shohei that the goal is for him to move up to 5 innings pitched. And it's TBD at this point if he'll be in the lineup in Thursday's game because they've kind of matched up his pitching with the days off so far, but this is the first Thursday in a while that they won't have a day off. So they're going to kind of decide if they want to see him in the lineup the following day after he's done so many innings. So this week will be kind of a keep an eye out on the game, see what's going to happen.
Yeah, very much so. I think it's a fair point in what you're saying.
What did you say?
Drink. I think it's a fair point in terms of what they are specifically working on, but in particular with Roki, the fact that his velocity is still down. I know they were talking that if he does come back, he's going to be in a relief role as opposed to a starter. So my only concern with those two guys, Michael Kopech and Roki, is just time. Even if you are working on stuff and you still don't feel comfortable with everything, hey man, we got to move you up. We need you because the minor league system season is going to end at the end of this month. So whether you still feel like I need more work, guess what? You're going to do it the way Shohei did it, and you're going to rehab up at the major league level. So I'm just telling everybody, just temper your expectations and just like Amie always says, just go ahead and enjoy the ride.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Amie. let's get into some baseball, huh? And a pleasant good evening to you wherever you may be. Okay, so here we go. It's a tale of two series for those of you
I
who
love
are
that book. I love that book. Go on.
that for you Dickens fans out there. I made a literary reference.
Mm-hmm.
You talked about it, okay? The I was actually fine. I really wasn't having the meltdown that everyone thinks I was having. Okay.
Okay.
Um, but it is just absolutely fascinating to see the Doyers get swept by the Angelitos, and then to see the Doyers, who by the time that Show Pod series started, they were in second place. They were one game out. Think
They were tied for first.
no, starting on
Weren't they?
Friday. Yeah,
Oh, I
when
thought they
they
were tied for first. Okay, my
no
bad. My bad. Hold
because
on, go back, go back.
they're 2 games up right now, and they swept. So going into that series, you would have to say the show pods had the momentum. They had just swept the Gigantes. So I was not optimistic going into that series. And then, of course, they end up sweeping the show pods. And I'm like, of course, this is what else could you expect? This is such a Dodgers thing to do. And that is you just don't know what to expect in this team. You don't know which version of this team is going to show up. The only
Lowered
thing lowered
expectations.
expectations. The only thing I think that you can count on with the Dodgers at this point in the season is their consistent inconsistent play, if that makes sense, Amy.
Or just ride or die for your team and enjoy the games. And then we talk about the cool stuff they did.
I will say this, in the Angelito series, that last game that they lost, that was some, I don't know what you want to call it. I don't want to, if you want to call it baseball gods. I don't know if you want to call it just ultra bad luck. But Andy Pages got robbed of a 2-run home run. If that ball goes over, the Dodgers win that game. Okay. There was also a ball that was tailor made to be a double play that Enriquez stuck his glove out. And when he stuck his glove out, it was deflected and it led to the Angelitos scoring runs.
That
So
was so rough to
if
see.
Enriquez doesn't do that, that ball was literally going right to Miguel Rojas. It was going to be a tailor made double play, and the Dodgers get out of the inning. So there was a lot of that stuff going on. But there was also, especially that first game against the Angelitos when they were down 7-0, they just were not playing well. So it wasn't. I know you look at it as getting swept by the Angelitos is really bad, really like it's disastrous. But I feel like
Whoa,
it was a mix.
who looks at it like that?
Well, a lot of the people that I was doing,
Oh, okay,
that
okay.
I was hanging out with. What were your thoughts on that Angelito series?
I mean, it wasn't great, but it was good to see them battle back. Like even in that first game, they couldn't find it. Soriano had their number. And the fact that they were able to battle back, at least not get shut out in the top of the eighth, like not too shabby. You saw what I'm trying to see where my innings started. Shohei got his 42nd home run. You see Mookie Betts single, Will Smith singles. Max Muncy brings them all home. This is also before he ends up going out, but like at least you saw some life from them. We also saw Mookie Betts go into right field, like make the sacrifice. Like this was his first game. I think I saw the stat was 108 games at shortstop, 1 game in right field. And he did that because they needed to bring in some different pinch hitters, and Miguel Rojas coming into the game needed a spot. They put him at short. Mookie offered to take right field. So it was just I mean, it's not what anybody wants to see, but unfortunately, like it's the game we got.
You know what, to me, the biggest takeaway was from that series, and I
The
don't know if
triple play.
well, that again, this is what I'm saying is like that's just bad luck.
Yeah.
That is, I mean,
For all the scorecard or the scorekeeping nerds out there, the L6 unassisted to 3. So L6U to 3 was just like I hated scoring it, but man, it was kind of a beautiful play.
that's all timing right there. It was hit in the right spot. The person was in the right spot. I mean, what are you going to do, right? And so a lot of that I feel happened in that Angelito series. you obviously the elephant in the room that you can't ignore, and I think it is going to be an ongoing issue for the Dodgers for the rest of the season and going into that postseason is the bullpen and how that bullpen is going to be managed. Because right now, with the injuries, you don't have I don't think you have a definitive answer as to who is going to close out those games. And when you lose back-to-back games where you had the lead, and then going into the series with the Sunday game with the Azulejos, where again you had the game late in the lead, had the lead late in the game, and you lost it. That to me is a little concerning. We saw it again in the Show Pod series, but they found a way to come through and win those games. But they don't have a definitive closer, and I know for the majority of the season, Tanner Scott was who you quote unquote could say was their closer, but there were a lot of times that the Dodgers were closer by committee. Right now, they literally are closer by committee. So
It's closer by who's left, who hasn't pitched, who hasn't touched a ball. I mean, going into that Wednesday series, the bullpen had pitched 513 innings already. Like that's astounding to me. And we're seeing the starting pitching is getting better as people are coming back. We're getting Snell, Glasnow, all of these people, right? We only used 4 pitchers in the game with Yoshinobu. We used 6 with Sheehan. We used 4 with Otani. Same thing. It was kind of just the reverse when we were up against the Padres. Kershaw, we used 6 pitchers, even though he went 6 innings. But you're seeing us kind of get into some of that trouble, so you've got to pull somebody and bring somebody else in. Snell, we only used 4 pitchers all together, and then Glasnow was 6. But again, it's these guys are going a little deeper into games, but we're still having some challenges with either they're overtired, they're overextended, and maybe they just can't do what they could at the beginning of the season.
well, that to me is the usage. I mean, that's a philosophy thing. That's what the Dodgers organization subscribes to. They like to get guys, they like to play the matchups. They like to, all right, this guy's only going to see 3 hitters. Or we have a situation like in the Show Pod series where Blake Trinan literally makes 1 pitch and he's done. We don't see him because it was the last out of the inning and
Well,
he
all these
doesn't come
guys
back out.
you got to be careful with, though. Like Kershaw still, I mean, for all intents and purposes, he's still recovering from surgery in the offseason. You've got Snell, who just came back, so you don't want to overextend him. Same thing. Glasnow's a little, he's not fragile, but we also don't want to lose him again after we just got him back. Yoshinobu, you've got to be careful with because we have had him all season. You don't need him to break right now. And then Otani's still building up. So it's not for lack of like, we just don't want to see these guys go late. I know that they do tend to pull their starters earlier, but they are having to be careful with like 5 out of 6 of their guys here. So,
but the thing also is because of that philosophy, the bullpen is not going to get that rest.
no.
And so when you sit there and you say guys that are tired, I think you could probably say the number 1 person right now that is displaying that is Alex Vesia.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Vesia has been good for the Dodgers all season long. As of late, he hasn't looked as good. His control has not been there. And a lot of people are saying the reason why his control is not there is because he's tired. Vesia, the only way Vesia is going to get a break is if you put him on the IL. And you're not going to put him on the IL because you need
They're already scraping the bottom of the barrel for relievers at this point. You don't have enough. Like there's just not enough.
So that's why for me, one of the interesting questions, and I was waiting to see because it's a very small sample size, but I wanted to talk to you about Bobby Miller. Bobby Miller has been
That's a name we haven't heard in a while.
Exactly. I had always wondered, with the Dodgers having the starting pitching problems that they've had, why they hadn't brought up Bobby Miller, because he was a warm body. And I thought to myself, I was like, man, Bobby Miller must be really, really bad in the minors if the Dodgers are a mash unit at the major league level and they don't bring up Bobby Miller. About a month ago, they moved Bobby Miller into a relief role down in Oklahoma City. And he has had success in this role. And again, I say this because the sample size is very, very small, but he's had 6 relief appearances down in the minor leagues, and he hasn't given up a run in those 6 relief appearances. So I could see it already coming where I'm like, could Bobby Miller be the savior for the bullpen? Bobby Miller will be fresh if they do decide to call him up.
They're going to
And
need to do it soon, though, so that he gets some reps at the major league level. Because, like you said, the minors are not the same as the show.
well, right, but come September, you're going to have an expanded roster. So, are we going to see Bobby Miller get called up in September? And are we going to see Bobby Miller be in the bullpen in September for the Dodgers? Because that to me is going to be interesting because you've seen this in the past with starters. Eric Gagne is one of them who were not successful as starters, but they made the transition into the bullpen and they became different pitchers. Now, I know this is when people are going to go, really, Juan, you're going to use Gagne as your example? He was a steroid user. That's maybe the reason why he was. I'm like, look,
Hold on, I'm looking for all the people who are arguing with you right now. Okay, go
I'm
on.
trying to get ahead of it. I'm trying to get
Okay,
ahead of it.
okay.
But there have been, look, I know I'm going to go to the other extreme. I'm going to use a Hall of Famer here for an example. But John Smoltz, who had success as a starter in the middle of his career, got moved into the bullpen and was very successful as a reliever. Could that be for Bobby Miller? Could Bobby Miller be, okay, maybe right now at the start of your career as a starter is not the best way to use you, but as a reliever, you might be able to help us to get to the finish line and then help us in the postseason. It's speculation. I don't know what's going to happen. It really caught my attention when I saw Bobby Miller got moved into the bullpen in Oklahoma City and the numbers that he is putting up. Again, it is a very small sample size. So I am that's to me where I'm curious to see, Amie, is come September when they get to those expanded rosters, if we're going to see Bobby Miller get called up. And maybe Bobby Miller can give this bullpen a breather because Alex Vesia he does look. I know I defer to the experts here, but usually when your control is off, it's a sign that you're tired. If a starting pitcher is in a game and they start losing their control towards the end of the game, fatigue is always the first thing that's pointed. So how do you find a breather? How do you give Vesia a breather? Because that's a dude that you're not only going to need for the end of the season, but you're going to need that guy in the playoffs.
You build up your starting pitching. You don't use as many people in the bullpen. I mean, those are the least that they can do, but we'll see if that actually happens because, again, for all the reasons I just said. And as far as Bobby Miller, I mean, we've seen it time and time again with these guys. Like, would he maybe rather be a starter? Probably. But do you want to play for the Dodgers and this is where they're going to put you and you want to put in the team effort? Or do you want to make a big deal out of it and, go play somewhere else? Odds are, like, a majority of these guys, from what I see and what we hear in like a lot of the scrums is they're all in team wise. Okay, where do you need me? Plug me in. I'll do whatever I can to help move this team forward. So wherever they put him, it doesn't matter if he wants to be a starter. I'm sure he's going to dig in and do whatever he can to help the team.
Absolutely. And not that he needs this convincing, but if he did be like, and I don't think he is because he already is in this role down in the minor leagues. But let's say if he was like Dustin May, where, hey man, I'm a starter. I want to be a starter. I want to keep pitching as a starter. This is what I would use to convince a player who was reluctant to go into the bullpen. Look at the last two times that the Dodgers have won the World Series. Who was the pitcher on the mound that had closed out those last two World Series? There were two starters. Julio Urias in 2020, Walker Buehler in 2024. So all I'm saying
and
is,
in some of those other games, we saw Kershaw coming in the late innings. Obviously, we didn't extend past some of those levels, but again, that just goes to everybody's willing to dig in where they can.
yeah, I don't know if you got a chance to watch any of this. Do you watch any of the post game on Spectrum Sportsnet LA?
Sometimes it depends. Life is busy. I'll catch what I can.
That Angel series was a little rough. The Angelito series was rough. It was the first time we saw the unicorn go into the fifth inning. And I don't know if it was fatigue. I don't know if it was, okay, he had reached his limit of being stretched out, but he was starting to get hit hard in that fifth inning and couldn't get out of that fifth inning. But the person that I want to give flowers to for that Angelito series is Noma Garcia Pera. Nomar,
Oh,
I thought
what position was he playing in that game?
he was playing the analyst, and let me tell you,
Oh, okay. Okay.
in the post game of the Angelito series, Amy, I thought Nomar put on a clinic. I thought Nomar was so good. I thought Nomar, I think, was exhibiting the behavior that you thought I was experiencing during watching that Angelito series. So he is being very professional in the post game interview. And Jerry Hairston is saying, well, Nomar is frustrated. And Nomar never pushed back on Jerry Hairston or any of that. But Jerry Hairston used a defense, an argument that a lot of Dodger fans have used, and it's an argument that's actually been used on this show. Okay. And that is teams play up to the Dodgers whenever they play it. So the
Right.
Angelitos play up to the Dodgers. They ended up winning the season series 6.
Everybody plays up to them. They have a target on their back for a reason.
And I love Nomar's comeback to Jerry Hairston on that. He stopped them at mid sentence and said, "You can't use that as an excuse."
It's not an excuse, though. It's a reason, and there's a difference between the two.
And I thought he did a very good explanation as to why you can't use that as an excuse. And that he was just like, the Dodgers, and this, you see this a lot, and it happened a little bit in the Padres series, and that is they score runs early. So they're playing hard in those early innings. They're scoring those runs. And then the offense disappears the rest of the game. And then you really put the bullpen in a really tough position because now the bullpen has got to be perfect in order to hold on to this lead. And I thought Nomar was really honest when he said, you really, as a team, have to look at yourself in terms of your approaches at the plate and still trying to, whether it's small ball manufacturing, continue to score runs and not have this mentality of we have enough now to win this game because we have the bullpen.
But
And I thought,
who thinks the Dodgers are sitting back saying we have enough, and then they're like, we can skate the rest of this game?
I think that's what the wife. I can't speak for Nomar, but when Jerry Hairston was using that it's only normal to have this type of attitude, to maybe step back, take your foot off the gas a little bit
I
because
disagree.
it's a long season.
I
But what?
disagree.
But what?
These guys don't play that way. I disagree with that. Like, these guys don't stop in the middle of a game like four runs, 3 runs. I think we're good. We can kind of coast the rest of this game. Like, who plays baseball that way? Like, if you were playing that way, I just that is it. I'm sorry. It's absurd to me that's a thought. I
Well,
just
I thought Don Omar did a good way of explaining that, and that was when you have your approach at the plate, and that is swinging at pitches that are out of the strike zone. That is, in some cases, people will argue, and Dave Roberts has said this too, and that is you're not focused. A lot that I heard from people who know baseball better than I do, people around the Dodgers, especially during that Angelito series, was they felt the team played with no sense of urgency. And what Nomar was speaking about was
you're gonna
urgent.
go say that to a player's face. You're gonna go say that to Mookie or Freddie. You played with no sense of urgency, and be able to say that to them with a straight face.
You know what? If I had Nomar's resume, I think I would, because you could point at Shohei swinging at pitches that are on the other side of the batter's box when Dave Roberts had said your approach should be go
Okay.
up the middle, right? So
And in the moment when all these things are happening fast, I think this is where, like, for me watching the game, it's more about the humanity than trying to find the blame or the scapegoat or the whatever the excuse or reason. Like, he had a rough day. He didn't do what he intended to do in that game, which was what it sounds like Dave Roberts is saying. But, like, I don't buy it. I don't. It sounds like these guys had a couple of bad games, and everybody's just trying to put a reason on it when it just comes down to it's baseball and they were bad games. Things didn't shake out the way that they wanted to, and it's like people just have to. If I have a reason, I'll feel better about it. It was just a bad game.
But here's where Nomar, I think, brings in the humanity of it. And that is when Nomar says, as a baseball player, if I'm in that clubhouse, I acknowledge that we don't have the bullets in my bullpen right now because of the injury. So the bullpen needs my help maybe more now than they've needed it before because we don't have the bullets, because we have guys who are tired, we have guys who don't have the experience. And because of that, it is very important for me to move a runner over. It is very important to me to make an effective out as opposed to me just, all right, I want to get my numbers.
No, I don't. I'm sure that's great. And if that makes people feel better watching it, then again, this is where we fan differently. I disagree because I think these guys are trying. I think sometimes you're going to get a little bit of head trash where it's like, okay, I'm going to help save this moment, or I'm going to swing big, and that one swing is going to make the change in the game when maybe you really should just be doing the small ball, but you get caught up in the moment. I don't think it's for lack of like taking their foot off the gas. It's just this game, for as slow as everybody likes to say baseball moves, it moves so quickly when you are on the mound, you are at the plate, or you're making a play in the infield or the outfield. And that's the thing I feel like we don't all recognize. Like, even just watching these guys, the preparation that they put in before the game, they're not slacking off. I watched Justin Dean Monday at Angel Stadium. He went in there, he was like pretending to like grab balls at the wall. He's like bouncing the ball off the wall to see how it caroms. He's like testing like where he can jump and where the net gets in the way. Like, these guys are all about winning and doing the best that they can. If they have a bad game, or they're all clearly not firing on all cylinders during that Angels game, maybe they do need to make a better team approach at it. But I don't know. I don't buy that they take their foot off the gas and kind of coast. Like, I don't buy it.
It was very interesting because the start of the Show Pod series, Kirsten Watson was getting interviewed on ESPN LA. And they asked Kirsten, Kirsten, do you think this was the right time to get the Show Pods? You're struggling. You have fallen out of first place. You're dealing with the bullpen. You just don't even know who you can go to in the bullpen. And Kirsten said this, and then other people started echoing this. And Kirsten said, no, I think this is the perfect time to get the Show Pods. And this is the time where all this urgency that everybody's asking for, you're going to see it because the Dodgers know we're not in first place. I mean, Dave Roberts was asked this question on Wednesday after the Angelitos game when he said, did you see this? When they asked him, he was like, did you see yourself being in second place at this point in the season? And you saw the look on Dave Roberts' face where he didn't even have to say the words. You could tell that Dave Roberts was just like, I can't believe this is happening. And then Dave Roberts answered it and said, no, I did not expect us to be in this position going into it. So when Kirsten says, yeah, this is the perfect time to have this team come in here and you're going to see a sense of urgency, that's where I think I get the frustration with Dodger fans when they hear the argument of, well, they play up or they play down to their competition. And that is, why can you guys play like this against the Show Pods, but you can't play like this against the Angelitos? Amie, when I saw that series against the Show Pods, it was like a completely different team out there. They were playing a much cleaner version of baseball. And then maybe because they were playing cleaner, they got a lot more breaks. Because let's be honest here, they got the breaks in the Show Pod series that they didn't get in the Angelitos series. If Manny Machado catches that bunt from Miguel Rojas, the Dodgers maybe don't score. Who knows what happens with that game? But the reality is Machado didn't catch that ball, and all the players afterwards said that was a break, and we took advantage of it. And you didn't see any of that in the Angelitos series, that when they did get a break, the Dodgers didn't take advantage of it. So,
but that's baseball, because the same could be said. I'm sure the people that are fans of the Padres are saying that on the other side of like, come on, we play better baseball than this. Like, we've been on a run since the trade deadline or the All-Star. Like, every team can say that at a given point during the season, though. Like, that's why it's baseball. If it was predictable, and we go back to this all the time, you could buy a World Series, you could buy your players, you could ensure that you're going to have it next year. That's not the case. There's a reason that there hasn't been a repeat since the early 2000s. Like, this is why it's baseball. Like, it is what it is. You get the breaks where you get them, and sometimes you can capitalize on them. They did with the Padres series, and sometimes you can't. In the Angels series, they couldn't. And it is what it is. And they are trying to change things. Like, you heard Freddie Freeman, you heard Blake Trinan, they're changing things up in their hitters meetings, in their pitching meetings. So they're trying to find whatever works that shifts them in the right direction to be able to continue to win at this caliber.
Yeah, I found it just, if I was a Show Pods fan, I'd be like,
You mean like a Dodgers fan last week? Like, or even any time during the season?
Like a Dodgers fan, when they play the Cerveceros or where they play the Angelitos. Like, the Show Pods have lost 8 out of 10 to the Dodgers this year.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just like, if you're a Show Pods fan, you're scratching your head going, what is it about this team that we just can't? Because what I ended up seeing, and maybe I shouldn't be surprised, because Clayton Kershaw, especially for the month of August, the numbers that he is putting up it is super impressive. I did not see this coming. If I would have told you at the beginning of the season, Amie, that Clayton Kershaw was going to be, if not your best pitcher or your most reliable pitcher in this by come August, would you believe me? Would you be like, oh yeah, I totally see it?
Yeah, because he did it last year too. Like,
even knowing that he was going to be injured for the first 2 months and he was kind of coming back from injury, he would be giving the performance that he's giving right now.
That's what he did last year too, though. Like, this is where I just don't have expectations. Like, I don't start the season like, oh my gosh, who like any of those questions. I'm just like, whatever. I have the players mentality. We're just focused on today's game. We're gonna eventually get to the postseason, hopefully one way or another. Usually, hopefully winning the pennant. Hopefully not on a wild card, but if we need to, we'll do it that way too. But like, I'm focused on the game that we've got coming up. Like, that's it. Life is too busy. There's so much going on. There's other things, like we talked about perspective last week. I just want to enjoy this stuff. I don't want to analyze it to death. Like, I want to talk about it. I love talking baseball, but I don't want to find fault with it or try to figure out who screwed up the most and how do we use that screw up to like get to the next game and like capitalize on. Like, I don't care. To me, it's like, dude, just seeing Justin Dean out there like doing that stuff. Like, it was cool seeing him, the preparation that he has. It was neat seeing the guys, like the camaraderie as they're like hitting and they're congratulating each other. Like, those are the things I like about baseball.
So how did you get through that Angels series?
What do you mean? I just watched it.
Right. Was it fun for you to watch those games?
It's not fun, but it's life. And that's, for me, that's why it's a metaphor, because life has its ups and downs. Life is not perfect. It's kind of that addiction to winning that's like, if the team's winning, I'm in a good spirit that some people have. Well, if you apply that to life too, your life isn't always great. Like, I had a lot of really good things happen in the last couple of weeks. I had a lot of really crappy things happen. If I focus on the crap, like, that's all my life's going to be. So I just focus on the positive. Like, I highlight stuff even in my scorebook of like little cool things that they did in different colors. And for me, I'm like, all right, that's my takeaway from the game. Like, did we win? No. Would I have liked to? Yes. But I don't have any control over this. So I'm going to find the beauty in this game, the things that make me smile. That's what I love about this game. That's what I bring to it.
Yeah, I want to give the flores out to Kershaw, because I just did not expect him to be able to do this in this season.
6 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 1 earned run, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts, only 1 home run.
For him to miss the first 2 months of the season and be second in the team in innings pitched behind Yamamoto, who has been healthy the whole season, that to me is just something I did not have on my bingo card. Once again, Blake Snell, was he dominant? No, but damn, I'll take 5 innings of shutout ball, and if he's
and there were concerns because he came from the Padres, like they might have had his number, and he still handled them. Even he said it wasn't his best game, but
Yeah.
he still managed to, like, he held it down.
Yeah, and he said that because he's going to face them next this weekend in Santiago, that he's going to change things up. So, look, if that guy
Kudos.
keeps going out there and just keeps getting better, I mean, whew, talk about the roll of the dice and everything coming up Andrew Friedman at this point.
Well, and two things that really stuck out to me, like, for me, and not just because we won, but in that second game, that Saturday game in the Padres series against Dylan Cease, we're used to seeing, like in that Angels series, them chasing the ball. It's outside, they're going to swing at it no matter what. The patience that they all exerted in that game, like, I'm getting chills right now. Like, it was beautiful to watch. Like, it was, to me, like, that's what I love about baseball, like finding those moments. It was just seeing them all be patient. You saw it pay off. They scored, what, 4 runs, I think, in the first couple innings. It was amazing to see that the work that they're putting in was paying off, especially against somebody like Dylan Cease. You're either going to chase a lot and you're going to strike out, or you're going to be patient and he's going to end up walking everybody. And that's what we saw. And they could have gotten swing happy and they didn't. So they changed their approach. So getting to see that.
What? Are you saying they changed their approach, that approach matters?
Yes. But that's what I said earlier. They just changed their approach in their hitting meetings and their pitching meetings. They're constantly trying to evolve, to be better, to meet people so that they can win. Did whatever I say come back to you like they shouldn't be changing their approach?
No, it just seemed that when I was saying that there was an issue with their approach in the Angelito series, you were saying you didn't buy that.
In what way?
In that their approach wasn't the problem, and that's why they weren't producing. But
No.
yet here they changed their approach against the show pods, and look, it resulted not only in them scoring runs, but they swept the series. If they would have taken that same approach to the Angelito series, would we have had different results?
Their approach was their approach in the Angel series. Like, you can't change it. So if they were swinging for everything, no matter like what reason they were doing that for, like, that's it. Like, there's nothing that we can change about that. All they can do is get better. I don't think they went into it, and if I didn't convey this when we were talking about it earlier, I don't think they went into it saying, like, I'm going to chase all these balls. Oh gosh, if it's outside the zone, I'm going to chase it no matter what. I think that's what they ended up doing. And is that what they ultimately went in trying to accomplish? No, but now seeing that, they were able to change that. So I'm not saying that the approach was, let's chase everything outside of the zone.
They definitely frustrated Dylan Cease because he looked like he was ready to punch something in that game. And, Dylan Cease has been good for the show pods. And that Sunday game, Darvish has been historically always good against the Doyers. And they jumped on him early in that game. And
Will
again,
Smith with all the caught stealing.
Yeah. My daughter was very impressed with Will Smith in that show pod series, and that's an example right there of a guy who maybe offensively doesn't have it, but here's my contribution to help the team win. When he's running down, and I feel like the last 2 seasons he's
offensively doesn't have it. He's like leading the team in batting
series,
average.
In the series,
okay. I was like, what?
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, in the series, okay, maybe I'm not contributing because look. I know Mookie had that huge hit in that Sunday game. It was huge. It was also Mookie's only hit in the series, right? But you feel good from that series for Mookie, right? But if you look at the numbers are, you went 1 for 9 in that series. Oh, but that one, let me tell you, that one was a big difference maker. So that's what I'm saying with Will Smith. If you look at Will Smith's numbers for the series, okay, maybe he didn't have that, but he found other ways to contribute to help the team on the field, to help them win the game. And that's what you really want, that you were talking about earlier in this. Look, whatever the team needs from me to win, that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. And that it just,
and that's no small feat. He's leading the MLB. He's got 24. I don't know the tense to use this in caught stealings.
I think you just really. I think you just keep it the way it is, caught stealing.
Yeah. Well, but it's plural because it's multiple. So it's 24 of them.
Yeah, but I really think you still just do caught stealing.
So 24 caught stealing situations. There, I feel
Yeah,
better. I feel
it
I
still
feel better
doesn't.
grammatically.
It doesn't sound right. I agree with you.
And then you've got Machado on the inverse, who was getting very emotional at the plate, very frustrated with the umpires this weekend.
And you know what? And he's having a good season. But he looked, yeah. I was surprised because he was missing some pitches right down the middle. He was missing some pitches that when I saw them released, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be bad," and he just missed them. So
Yeah,
I understand why he was frustrated.
which is that's that balance in baseball for me though. Like I'm sure Padres fans are frustrated with that. Like they know he's hitting better than that. He's doing better than that. Like that's the juxtaposition of this game. Like you can have somebody who's doing so well and then they just don't perform the way that you think they should, and it's on any given day, that's the way it shakes out. But
So the Dodgers are up 2 games right now. They got a 4-game set in Colorado. Now, here's the thing. You just don't know which team is going to show up. And it's also Colorado, which is the last thing
and
you want to do.
they've been on a good run lately.
The last thing you want to do is go to Colorado because that means you're going to use your bullpen. So there's a good chance that when they start the series in San Diego this weekend, they could be tied again, or they could be really, really close because the Show Pod's got 3 against the Gigantes, and the Gigantes are going through it right now.
And this is that what if game I hate playing, because people are saying, well, typically after the Padres lose to the Dodgers, then they tend to go downhill with whatever team they play next. Or, the Dodgers could go to Colorado and Colorado's playing well, and you don't know what's going to happen. Like this is where it's like, I'm just going to watch tonight's game and see what happens. And hopefully it goes well one game after another. And we'll even see what they do next weekend, because they held Dalton Rushing out of the Padres games and Will Smith caught all 3 of those. So there's speculation that that's probably what's going to happen again once they face them in San Diego, because of just Will's experience, the caliber of the team, the matchup itself. So while Dalton Rushing is amazing, and you even saw reports of him hitting out like stellar balls out into the, the field, or what am I trying to say? In the outfield in Coors, like, odds are he's probably not going to be in that Padres series.
And just to correct something, the Show Pods actually have 4 against the Gigantes. So they're playing a 4-game series, and the Dodgers got 4 against the Rockies. So everything is going to be even. So we'll see how both of those teams. Yeah, I really don't know what to make about Dalton Rushing. Obviously, the success offensively is not translating, and
well, he's also not playing every day. He's used to that.
Exactly.
So, and he's another one of those where he's like, I will do whatever they want me to. Because like you hear people kind of trying to start that narrative of like, well, if you were playing every day, like, do you think you'd be better? And he's like, I'm doing what the team is asking me. Like, they want me to play. Like, who wouldn't want to be in the show versus like, okay, just leave me down in the minors and I'll play every day, but like I'm in the minors. And no shade to the minor leagues, but if you have the opportunity to play for the Dodgers in Major League Baseball, even if it's just a couple days a week, wouldn't you take it?
No, look, he's doing what he needs to be doing. My thing is, and this is, I mean, it's past the trade deadline, so it really doesn't matter. But for me,
wait, did you want to get Austin Barnes back?
Well, no, like for me,
I'm kidding.
Look, I get why Zaire Hope and Jose de Paula. They like, you see them play and you're just like, man, those guys are going to be really, really good. We got to hold on to those guys. And Alex Friedland is a guy who is considered a top prospect in the Dodgers system. Alex Friedman,
some really good plays this weekend.
Yeah, but offensively, he just doesn't. He's not up to speed. I mean, he looks like he is struggling. He's under the Euchre line. And
he's transitioning,
but that's what I'm saying. It seems like Dodger pitchers from the minor leagues, those are the ones that seem to be really translating and adapting to the major leagues a lot quicker than the Dodgers position players.
And you've said that before.
And so that's why for me, it's like you hope that Max Muncy's going to come back. I don't know how comfortable if Max Muncy's oblique turns like last year's oblique. I don't know how comfortable I'm going to be with going into the postseason, and you still have to play Alex Freeland at third base.
Unfortunately, though, this is where we as fans are spoiled because in normal situations, other teams are having this situation. They're bringing up the younger players from the farm system, and those are your players. You have like one or two, maybe two if you're lucky, stars, and then the rest of your team might be varying levels of skill in players. And the Dodgers, unfortunately, it just depends on the day when people are arguing, right? Oh, well, this team is too old. Okay, great, it's too old, so let's bring up some new players. Oh, these players are too green. Well, how are they going to get experience unless you let them play? So it's like you've got to deal with the transition, not you, but just the general you. You've got to deal with that transition at some point because these are the players that are going to be coming up next who we're going to figure out who's going to be the next Freddie Freeman, who's going to be the next Mookie Betts. It's not going to be overnight, but we're going to figure that out.
Look, the Dodgers have a lot of balls up in the air at this point. Hi-oh, because everything that you just said right now, they're still trying to win a division. They're trying to get players back from injury. They're trying to work in these players who are here on the field because if these guys who are injured don't come back, we need you guys. So finding playing time for these guys, it's
It's balance. That's what you have to do in baseball. Like
I don't
it's the
envy the
nature of the
position
game.
that they're in. Uh, I do think it was nice to see that the Oscar Hernandez came up big in the Show Pod series. So welcome back, the Oscar Hernandez. Hopefully, this is the beginning of him going on a little run because it has seemed that for most of the season he just has not, and it could be again that growing injury may be what is really affecting him on the field because again, there are balls that drop in front of him that from television, Amie, it looks like he should have gotten to it. Or I sit there and I go, well, if anybody else was playing that position, could they have gotten to it? And
And
I
you
have
don't
to
know
remind
if
myself.
you just you don't want to injure him further. Like this is the
Exactly.
best you get, and you do see. So like even in the past, when because this has been an issue all season for him for the most part,
Right.
Miguel Rojas was like, if I see a ball going that way, I'm just gonna run. And you kind of saw that with I don't know if it was Alex Freeland at second, but like
Yes,
he
you
ran
did.
out there, and so people are like, "What are they doing? Somebody call the ball!" But you don't know if in those meetings they're like, "Hey, Theo is still injured to a certain extent. He's going to be out there playing. You guys got to back him up." We again, that's the we don't know what's happening there. And to your point, it could be that groin issue because the majority of them are unfortunately playing injured. Like Freddie's still not top, condition.
Yeah, Freeland looked like he was shot out of a cannon trying to catch that ball that was hit into right
Where it's
field.
almost like they're like, "Go get it."
Yeah, it was like I'm Kelly Leak, and I'm gonna go ahead and just wherever the ball is hit, that's where I'm going, and it just seemed like it was an easier play for the Oscar. But like I said, anytime a ball is hit to him, I have to remind myself he's got a growing issue, and I just am starting to think he's not fully recovered from that growing. Just the same way that Tommy Edman is not going to be fully recovered, or like you just said, Federico is going to be fully recovered from that ankle. They're still going to have
I
these
would go
issues
so
that
far
slow
as
them
like
down.
everybody should just assume that that's the case because these guys they're not even rehabbing. They're literally playing through the injury because to rehab it would be to rest it and they are not resting it. So like just assume there's going to be some degrees coming off of how the caliber of their play because of that. I mean, the alternative is put them on the IL and then you bring up another, young player that nobody wants to see and
Well, I know
see
a
how that
lot of
goes.
people were clamoring for Ryan Ward. They're like, he can't be any worse than Michael Conforto. Well, Michael Conforto got a big head in the series against the Show Pods. He is
He got
just.
a hat tip from Dave Roberts.
Yes, I mean Conforto is just going to be the Dodgers fans' whipping boy all season.
It's such a
Uh,
bummer for him. Like I hate that for him.
I really hope he ends up getting a huge hit in the postseason, and everybody's just going to be singing his praises. Is there anything else you want to talk about between the Angelitos and the Show Pods before we move on to the next topic?
No, I mean we did get to see Buddy Kennedy debut, but I don't think we've seen enough of a sample size from him. So we'll see how that goes.
Have you started the buddy countdown?
Oh, I'm sorry. What?
Have you studied the buddy? Have you started the buddy countdown?
I have not. What is the buddy countdown?
I don't think Buddy's going to be here long. Is what I'm saying.
Well,
If
we did pick him up off waivers, and we know how that typically goes for this team.
exactly. So if Buddy's here long, that either means two things: he's got some success, which is great, or something has gone horribly wrong with somebody else's injury.
Well, that's almost like the Kevin Biggio pickup last year. Again,
Yes.
I think when Muncy was injured. So
Yeah.
again, this is where I don't know. I'm not gonna have a countdown because whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen. So
It's been happening all season. Okay. Anything else?
no, that was it.
So, Amie, I don't know if you noticed this because
From my outrageous, angry texts to you.
No. I'm being honest with you. If you
Okay.
wouldn't have known it was Players Weekend this past weekend,
would
would you know it was Players Weekend?
Nope, not at all. I happened to see something on what was it, Thursday? I texted you. I was like, "This is our big lead into." Oh, okay. I had no clue it was coming up.
It baffles me how Major League Baseball took something that I feel was universally liked. I never heard anyone complain about this. Everybody seemed to have liked it.
It's like the All-Star game when they took away the jerseys and tried to make it into something else. Just stop. We're gonna get into how they're trying to change things. Stop. But just how they're gonna change things with some of Manfred's comments. And I feel like maybe if you stop focusing on yourself for a second, Manfred, look into the camera. Listen to the fans. This is what the fans want. The fans don't care about your new plan we're about to talk about or your plan that you constantly bring up every couple of years. They want the jerseys back. The ex-players want that. Some of the players want that. I think it was Foul Territory was bring back the jerseys, bring back the nicknames. You can have cleats all year long. That's a thing now. So you let them have bats? They were arguing let them have bats all year long. Who cares?
It's that simple, right? That's really what this is all about.
Bring the fun back.
We just want the jerseys with the nicknames. That's it, right?
Because it's fun. So Foul Territory brought up what if somebody doesn't get an at bat? So let's say we don't see their cleats, we don't get to see their spiffy bats, but even aside from some social media posts for some of the more zhuzhed out bats, I didn't really see a lot on the broadcasts. They didn't really play. You might get I heard about Alex Freeland's special bat on I think Saturday, but you didn't. So for all the pomp and circumstance, the fans didn't really get much of that. If I'm seeing you at bat, I don't really see what's going on with your bat unless Tim Neverett and Rick Monday tell me that Freddie Freeman has his 3 sons' names on there. I got the story from them, but if you're gonna do this, I want to hear from the players. You need to either have some kind of thing, make a big thing about it, but just they have bats and cleats that I can't see while they're playing a game. Cool. All right. Somebody managed to post about a couple of cool players' cleats, but that's it. There's a whole team's worth of people on there with different expressions and things. And the whole point was, what did they say? Encouraged to showcase favorite hobbies, interests, and passions. They're going to relax their on-field equipment regulations and then select game-used items to auction to benefit a charitable organization of the players' choosing. Cool. Well, it seems like you did all that insular for the players. What did we get out of it? Where was the fun?
It just doesn't make sense to me, Amie, because you would think that they want to make money. And to me, there is no easier or bigger moneymaker than selling jerseys with players' nicknames. I still kick myself
Cash
that
cow!
Exactly. I still kick myself that I didn't get a Dick Mountain jersey.
I know. A Dick Mountain, I wanted a Kike one and the teal colored one that they had. I held out because I was like, no, I'll get one next year. And then they killed it.
Yeah. And I still have not heard a rational explanation as to why they just took that away. Because to me, it's you're going to make money. No matter, could you imagine what the unicorn would put on his nickname
Oh my
and
god.
how many jerseys he would
Decoy's
sell.
daddy or something like that.
Exact decoys dead. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, send all the responses to Amy. I know everyone would assume I'm the one that would make that comment, but that was very
But he
good.
is.
I
Is
applaud
he?
you.
Is
I
he not
applaud you.
Decoy's dad?
Yeah, but it's a great nickname. So
No.
that's what I'm saying. It's like it feels like such a missed opportunity, and I just don't understand why it's been this many years. Because I think when
Everybody
was
shouts it every year.
when was the last time? Was it 2018?
17, 18,
Was it
something like
17?
that. I don't know. Don't. It was a long. It was in a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah,
Like,
I
so I had to dig through social media just to find the different bats, and I couldn't even really get, like, it was the same, like, 5 over and over again. And then I saw
yeah,
the ones from our team, obviously, that we got the stories. Freddie and his sons. Pages had a pencil bat. That was the most noticeable out of ours because they talked about Alex Freeland's bat. I knew he had a Sour Patch Kids one, but as he was hitting behind the plate, all you saw were like orange, yellow, green. The front of the bat that the pitcher saw had the Sour Patch on it. And so I had my camera out in the press box. Every time he went at bat, I was like, I just want to get a picture of that Sour Patch front. You couldn't see it because he always swung with the bat facing the crowd. So, like, we didn't even get to see it. Cal Raleigh had one that said big butt, dot, 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 even bigger bombs. That was like 20 posts deep on social media for me to find. That's hilarious.
yeah, and this is to me again why I feel it's such a missed opportunity.
Why are
I
they not
still
listening?
I still remember the nicknames of players on their jerseys, and I didn't even care for the nickname, but I remember it like Austin Barnes Sam,
Yes.
or Ross Stripling's Chicken Strip,
Mhm.
Pedro Baez La Mula. It's I remember those things, and
If
I
they can
just
all wear 42 on one day and we don't know which player
yeah
is who, like, and I'm not trying to cheapen Jackie Robinson, so hold on. Hold your
I'm with
horses. I'm just saying you're going to know who people are.
I'm with the fair territory guys. I think we need to start a campaign. We need to start something. That the player nickname jerseys need to come back.
I would totally buy one every year. Like that, I would
Yeah,
save money for that. If, like, bills are going through the roof, that's the one thing I'm not gonna buy an All-Star jersey but like Players Weekend, I looked forward to that every year. I didn't even know it was coming up I didn't even know we were
yeah,
having one. Honestly, I was
yeah.
shocked. I was like, oh, we're doing that again. Oh, it's cleats and bats again. Great, cool, cool, cool.
Yeah, to me, I don't understand the purpose of it any longer. To me, Players Weekend was about the jerseys and the nicknames. And
And the fun.
if you're not going to do that, I'm with you, Amy. What is the point of this other than you're playing the game in front of little leaguers on Sunday? But other than that, there's nothing that tells me you're showcasing the players.
Did you
There's
recognize any of the bats just watching the game? Were you like, oh wow, that looks like a cool bat?
I didn't know about Andy Bacchus's pencil story until I saw him swinging the bat because I saw the eraser at the end of it, and then Freeland's Sour Patch, and they told the story about Federico's 3 different bats. But
You
again,
wouldn't have known.
yeah,
Otherwise, it's like, all right, they're using a different bat. Are they trying the torpedo bat? I don't know. Like,
I just don't know what they're trying to accomplish by why do you keep something that we actually like and then you force stuff down our throats that we're telling you we don't want?
well, they
I
they bastardized it. They turned it into something like they cheapened it. Like, don't call it Players Weekend. It's like when you have a band, for me, and like you take away the lead singer and you bring somebody else in. I'm not talking about Journey. I'm just in general, any band
talking
that you
about Van
love.
Halen. Are you talking about
No,
Van Halen?
no, I could Blink 182. Like, you could pick any band that has done this, and it's like, just change the name of your band then. Like, you're not the same. You're not the core of what this was. It's the same thing for don't call it Players Weekend, because it wasn't about the fans getting to interact with these hobbies and stories, because I don't feel like they disseminated it well at all. So, like, what did we get out of it other than you announced that they had it, and the player, like, maybe the players got joy, and that's cool. But if you're trying to grow the game and interact with fans, where was the interaction?
You know what this feels like? This feels like when Chrissy Snow, Suzanne Summers left Three's Company and they brought in Cindy, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
wait, what is this? Who's
Mhm.
Cindy? Where's Chrissy? Like I no entiendo. What's
Mhm.
happening here?
Yeah. Don't bring this in and call it Players Weekend. Just call it something else, because call it the Funless Weekend, because that's what it was. Like
What's the knockoff
Timu. It's
Timo?
Timu, and that's what I was thinking. That's what I said in the press box on Saturday or Sunday. I was like the Timu Players Weekend.
Timu Players Weekend is what we had, ladies and gentlemen. Anything else before we move on into another subject that's going to piss you off?
Oh man, I'm just getting ramped up. I will say, on a positive note, Cattell Marte had a quite lovely bat with him and his mom on it, especially in light of the story of the fan basically chiding him to tears. He did have it was a beautiful bat. So
Real quick before we segue into the next topic, because it is Players Weekend and it did culminate with playing the in front of the little leaguers. Have you heard the story that's going around where people are taking bets on the Little League World Series?
what, they're betting on kid? Oh my god!
Yeah, so a
Oh my
lot.
god! Are you serious?
Yes, yes. It's becoming a big story
What
here.
have we come to? Oh my god! See, this is we definitely I fan differently than some people.
And so someone had asked me, it's like, Juan, is this not immoral to
You're betting
bet?
on kids?
Yeah, to bet on kids. And I'm just like, and all I could think of, Amie, honestly, was some guy who bets a lot of money on a little league team and loses it and then berates one of those kids
You just
socially.
you see, I got chills earlier for like good baseball moments, and I just got bad chills right now. I don't because you know what's gonna happen. I had that front row seat to the guy during the home run derby, and like we already know it's ugly from the stories that we cover. It was even uglier being there, and that was like not a high stakes game. It was the home run derby, but just hearing this guy say horrible things about players, it just felt gross. And knowing that that could be the outcome, especially if you have betting and drinking involved, like I hope that these kids don't get berated for anything because somebody didn't win their bet.
But that's one of those things now that has become part of the narrative for me. We talked very briefly last week how they were saying it's a major league problem, but I feel like it's a problem all in society, and that is
Yeah.
the stalking that's happening in Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball, I don't know if we are talking enough about how uncomfortable the marriage between gambling and not only Major League Baseball, but all of sports. It, you have gambling now becoming a very profitable advertising. They're talking about, especially in NBA arenas, there's going to be a point where you can bet on anything from your seat. It's going to be like built into your seat. And I'm like, okay, if we're gonna do that, how can we honestly, because pay attention to what's happening in Cleveland, how a certain reliever has gotten suspended due to a gambling related issue. How can we sit here openly? We will take your money, and then at the same time, hey, you guys can't. It's the ultimate
Oh,
devil's advocate, right?
it's not
Look,
lost
but
on
don't
me.
look, but don't touch.
Do as I
Touch,
say, not as I do.
touch, but don't taste. Taste, but don't swallow. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Oh,
because of that is automatically embedded in my head when I heard this story about they're opening up betting for the Little League World Series. I immediately went to these little leaguers are going to get treated the same way major leaguers get treated.
have
And is that what we really want?
have you ever been stalked?
No, not that I'm aware of.
Okay, so secret stalking.
Yeah. Now, thank
I,
you.
and
I'm not paranoid. Just everyone's out to get me. Thank you very much.
and
I'll
the
be
only
able to
reason
sleep very comfortably tonight.
and the only reason I say that is because we have had these cultural topics on the show from time to time, and I ask a woman if she has a stalking story, right? And I know that while we make up a good portion of the fan base, sometimes we are not acknowledged as part of the fan base, but this is something we are familiar with. And if you don't know a woman who has had this happen to, I bet you know she knows somebody where it has been an issue. So I think that this is also maybe many men's first foray into what somebody would do this, somebody would invade my privacy or my space, when we have dealt with this on a larger scale for a long time, whether it's you have, high scale, like I've got to get police involved, or it's just like, wow, this is problematic, I need to have some friends help me out with this. But like, this is not new behavior from a certain segment of the population. I think some people are just experiencing it for the first time, or seeing it happen, especially to players, for the first time. And all of that to say is it's wrong. This should not be happening, whether it's betting, whether it's just, I don't want to say attractiveness, because people can be attracted to a player, and I'm not talking sexually, but for whatever, men to men, like, this player is just amazing. Like, I need his autograph. I need whatever. None of that is healthy. And I think that is something, I'm glad that this is getting more eyes on it. It's awful that it's happening, but it has always been happening. It's just finally getting the light that it needs, whether it's, players finally coming out and speaking about it, because we know that this does happen. They're just not so vocal about it. So I hope that at some point we can find some balance and have a healthier outlet. We know gambling's not going to help that in any way, shape, or form, but shed some light on this, so maybe we can change the view of how we approach players, how we approach little leaguers playing a game for fun. Good grief. Like, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's watch this space. I'm curious to see if this gains more attention. And
I really hope there's not a follow-up story to this, only because I really don't want those children, those kids, and I'm sure they're varying ages, but like, I don't know the age that game is played at, because honestly, I don't follow that particular one. Are they preteen, teenagers?
I believe they're 10 or 11.
That's
10, 11.
that's even if they were preteens or teenagers, like, still not okay.
I really think the only acceptable follow-up story probably to this would be that they stopped taking bets, that they would not allow bets on the Little League World Series.
That is unfortunate. Come on, Manfred, do focus on that.
All right, you said the magic word, ladies and gentlemen, Manfred.
No, don't say it 3 times, then he'll appear.
So, Amie, what do you want to? I don't want to say what do you want to rant about with Manfred, but what would you like to discuss about your boy Manfred?
He is not my boy. I would like us to discuss what recently came about on the ESPN broadcast of the Little League Classic between the Mariners and the Mets. I'm curious on your view. Do you want me to set it up, or would
set it up? Set it up for our viewers or listeners.
Okay, so Manfred has hinted on what he has talked about in the past about the MLB expanding and then also geographically realigning. So what he wants to do is save the wear and tear on players in terms of travel. And I'm going to try not to laugh through this because, but anyway, he also thinks that with the postseason format would be more appealing for entities like ESPN, because you'd be playing out of the East or the West and not in the 10 o'clock slot with, and apparently he uses this example all the time, but Boston and Anaheim, where you would have 2 West Coast teams battling it out, so that you're not dealing with like Boston with either a too late of a game or the West Coast with, too early of one, whatever. So he also said that he wants to introduce 2 new teams at locations that he will pick before his 2029 retirement. They won't be playing yet because the Rays and the A's have to complete their long-running quests for new stadiums. But essentially 32 teams would be more geographically based. Alignment-wise, they would reduce travel and potentially split the season. So I can't wait to hear what that's going to do. What are your thoughts?
So my initial thoughts on this, Amie, was, oh yeah, okay. So let's preface this by the fact you and I have had this conversation on this show before. I think if you're a loyal listener, you guys all know where we stand on this. We are both.
You need to get your house in order before you start trying to add on to it.
Exactly. We are both against expansion. We don't want to see 2 new teams, especially when Amie just cited you have the Athletics and you have the Rays. But
you have the expanded postseason, which is limiting the amount of players that are available, like for the trade deadline for some of those teams. Like, sorry, I interrupted you. Go on.
My initial reaction was this. This feels like it's a legacy play for Manfred. And especially when you say he's going to choose the teams before he leaves in 2029. So this is, but then the other thing is the more I think about it, Amie, he is not doing this unless he has the other owner's support for this. The other, because we can't lose sight of the fact that he works for the owners.
That's
He
one of my
works.
notes. He's more focused on the owners. And you know that he said the money that it would take to begin one of these teams, it would start with the letter B. So we're talking billions. So this is a money grab. This is all about money.
And the other thing that concerns me about this, Amie, especially when the CBA is going to be up for renegotiation very, very soon. And especially with the altercation that happened between him and Bryce Harper. And it seems like the owners are really going to make a very hard push for a salary cap. I am a little concerned that maybe this push for an expansion is, hey, well, if we renegotiate the CBA, maybe we can do more revenue sharing. And I say more revenue sharing because there already is a version of revenue sharing in Major League Baseball,
With
and it's
no repercussions.
with those teams that are over the tax threshold who pay into a fund that gets redistributed to the other teams who pocket that money and they don't spend it. So now you're going to have more teams that are. I see it.
And that's what gets me. That, like, get your house in order. You don't even have teams that are competing. What, you have Colorado that's maybe what, in the 30s as far as wins right now?
Yeah, there's too many red flags for me on this, but also when he uses the geographical argument,
Realignment.
when he uses that argument, I'm just like, okay. Part of me is like, I get it. I get what you're saying. But we also have interleague play. So when you have interleague play, you're going to have the coasts, the teams that play on the coasts, they're going to be traveling cross country no matter what. And I get it. You want to cut down on those trips, but you can't cut down on those trips because you have interleague play and you have a schedule where you play every team in the league. So don't tell me you're trying to cut down on travel when you have a schedule the way it is.
And that one of my things, my big WTF on there was like, I want to see those matchups. If I have to stay, if you play the game earlier so that it's more amenable to those East Coast teams, that's fine. I'll either catch it after work, or if I can't catch it because it's even earlier in the day, I'm going to rewatch the game. We have ways to do that. Don't take away the challenge and the sportsmanship against the Yankees, against the Red Sox, against whoever. Like, you're just gonna you know what, travel's really hard. You're just not gonna play East Coast teams ever again unless it's like the postseason, and who knows, we may realign that too. Like, what?
Yeah, it just
If
like
this is too hard, address the number of games, but you don't want to lose any money on those. Address that. Like, address the length of the season. But like, this is such BS.
I mean, you just changed the schedule, the uneven schedule when you were playing more people, more you were playing within your
More
division
regional games.
more times, right?
That was in the last 3 years, I think. I think
And
we've
you
had this
changed
schedule
that so you can play everybody in the league, and now you're going to sit here
to
and
get
use the argument,
to get more
well,
money.
this is for geographical purposes. It's like, no, it's not, because if that was the case, you wouldn't have changed the schedule to
No,
make it where you play every team in the league every year.
because we played the Padres, the Rockies, the Giants. Like, we played the NL West so many times. Like, I could tell their players' silhouettes. Like, I could see like the side of them, be like, oh yeah, that's that player, because we saw them so often.
Yeah.
Like, now it's like, wait, who is that out there in the field again? Because we only play them what, 4 times this year, and they're in our division. But like, I don't, he's so full of it. Like, this it's so tone deaf to me that you are just doing what you want, like you said, for a legacy. And it's like, this is not what the fans want. You hear people saying, yes, we need to grow the game, but you also need to keep the traditionalists happy. This is not going to grow the game. If you have problems with your teams not playing well, you need to do something about the Angels, the Rockies, the White Sox. Give those teams, have somebody pay the $1 billion buy-in or whatever, and move the team. But if you're not going to fix what's already broken in baseball, it's unbalanced. People want a salary cap, I think, for the wrong reasons when ownership should be spending. Fix that. Fix not just those teams, but the A's, Tampa Bay. Like, they're playing in minor league parks right now. What are you doing? Like, just I'm so like, this is so asinine to me.
Do you have a palate cleanser before we end the show? I don't want to end the show with you being this angry.
He just irritates the heck out of me. Like, what are we doing? I'm trying to think. Do we have a palate cleanser? Saber has their Diamond Stories coming up in September on the 6th. Register for that.
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That ringing endorsement right there.
I'm just so frustrated. Like, why are we doing this? Like, why? Okay,
well, that's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you that have been listening on the audio portion of the show, please make sure you're subscribed to the podcast, rate us, write us a review, help spread the word about the show. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribed to our YouTube channel, hit that notification button, give us a thumbs up, leave us your comments. We'd love engaging with you. And most importantly, make sure you're following us on social media, on X at BB Shangri-La, on Instagram, YouTube, and Bluesky at Baseball Shangri-La. She is Amie Cuevas. I am Juan Ramirez. Nos despedimos con un beso. Amie, say goodbye to the people.
Goodbye, people.